Welcome. This is the REAP webinar about grants and funding for solar for small businesses and agricultural businesses in Wyoming, co-hosted by Creative Energies and the Alliance for Renewable Energy. My name's Claire Duder. I'm a staff that helps out with the Alliance for Renewable Energy, which is an affiliate organization of Powder River Basin Resource Council. ARE, Alliance for Renewable Energy, is a community-based organization in Laramie and is dedicated to transition to renewable and sustainable energy in their community. And our presenter today is Leo Pueblitz. He is a technical sales professional with Creative Energies, and he also serves on the board of directors for ARE down in Laramie. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put it in the Q&A section or the chat function, and Leo can address those at the end of his presentation. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Leo, and thanks everybody for joining.
All right, thank you, Claire. Thanks everyone for coming. I'm Leo Pueblitz. I am the technical solar sales representative for Creative Energies in Southeast Wyoming. So I oversee commercial and residential sales in this part of the state. I just want to talk to you today about the REAP grant, the USDA REAP grant. I'm going to provide you with some information in my presentation. And we'll open it up for questions at the end. If you want to ask questions during my presentation, that's fine, but I'll address it at the end and I'll add some additional comments. So let me go ahead and get this started. Probably take about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we can address your questions. All right, let's see, share. All right, can you guys see my screen okay? Claire?
Yeah, looks good. Yep,
okay.
now it's full screen.
Okay, great. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the 2023 USDA REAP grant. I'm going to give a quick overview of eligibility, funding, and requirements. My contact information is here. You're free to email me or call me on my cell phone. I'm happy to chat with you afterward if you have interest in solar or you have more questions about the grant itself. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's address what REAP is. REAP is the Rural Energy for America program, and it's a program by the USDA that provides guaranteed loan financing and grant funding to agricultural producers and rural small businesses for renewable energy systems, or to make energy efficiency improvements for a business. Agricultural producers can also apply for new energy efficient equipment and solar system loans for agricultural production and processing. Who is eligible for these grants? Who can apply for REAP? So agricultural businesses and producers who can prove that 50% of their gross income comes from agricultural operations. That's one sect of folks that are eligible for this. So that includes farmers, ranchers, animal feed manufacturers, breeding companies, farm production, machinery production businesses, and anything along those lines that deals with agriculture. Small businesses in rural areas are also eligible. That's what makes it so great about Wyoming, is we're pretty rural. And so those types of businesses are restaurants, grocery stores, retail stores, manufacturers. Anyone basically who's running a business in Wyoming is eligible in those in eligible areas. So eligible areas are made up of either rural areas with 50,000 residents or less. So that's a lot of Wyoming. And if you're an agricultural producer, you may be in a rural or non-rural area with a population of above or below 50,000. And one thing I want to note in this next slide also is, the funding was at 25% last year, and it's jumped up to 40% with the implementation of the Inflation Reduction Act. So the benefits for this program now are really, really great, and that's something to keep in mind. And I'll get more into that here a little later on. But you can use these funds for different things, mainly installing renewable energy systems such as wind and solar, what we do at Creative Energies. You can also use them for installation and construction of energy efficiency improvements, such as HVAC systems, insulation, lighting, cooling and refrigeration units for your business, doors, windows, anything that's going to make your building and your business more efficient. You can also use this for that. But of course, I'm going to concentrate on the solar aspect of it because that's what I'm familiar with, and that's what we do. Agricultural producers can also use guaranteed loan funds to install energy efficient equipment and systems for agricultural production and processing. Okay, so what kind of funding is available for these loans and grants? So there's a REAP loan and a REAP grant. Creative Energies is more familiar with the grant aspect of it. We've done several projects in Utah and Wyoming with grant funding. So the loans are a little bit, maybe a little more complex, and I don't have as much experience with them, but they're definitely out there. And the loans guarantee, loan guarantees on loans up to 75% of the total eligible project costs, and grants are up to 40% of the total eligible project costs. And you can combine a grant and a loan for guaranteed funding up to 75% of the project cost. Okay, this is where, this is not my area of expertise, but I want to present it to you anyway. So the interest rates and underwriting requirements for the loan guarantee. So the interest rates are determined by the lender and the borrower. They're consistent with lending procedures. The loan officer will evaluate the credit of the borrower. The business and/or property must demonstrate the ability to repay the loan guarantee. Projects must be utilizing commercially available technology, and an energy audit may be required for efficiency projects. But again, that's something you would have to discuss with the USDA because they're going to be able to give you more information. I just wanted to briefly touch on that so that you know how it works. I'm sure it's similar to the way you would take a car loan out or something, maybe even a home loan, I don't know. But you can get more information through the USDA about the loans. The terms of the grants. So this will give you an idea of how much money you can borrow. So a renewable energy system grant, it's set at a maximum of $1 million for a funding request. So with a funding, with 40% grant funding, this would have a minimum project cost of $2.5 million. So you could essentially get a grant for $1 million for a price for a project that is $2.5 million. And the energy efficiency grants are set at a max of $500,000 for a funding request. And so you could get up to 40% on a project cost of $1.25 million. So there's quite a bit of funding out there. And, because Wyoming is low density, low population, the grants are they're available, and you have probably less competition than you would in a more populated area. How does the grant process work? So this is another area, where it gets a little bit complex and maybe above my pay grade. It's something that we encourage businesses to discuss with their accountant or a tax professional, tax expert, because there are different ways to claim these grants and incentives. So one way you can do it is that you can claim the REAP grant, the REAP funds on 100% of the project. and claim the ITC or investment tax credit on 100% of the project costs. If you do this, you need to claim the REAP grant as taxable income. So I'll reiterate on this, and I'll show another slide. So the REAP grant can cover up to 40% of the project costs, and you can claim the federal tax credit or investment tax credit, ITC, on 30% of the project. So that's a total of about 70% of the project cost, that you could use these incentives on. The other way to do it is you can apply for the REAP funds for just part of the project not covered by the investment tax credit, to avoid claiming REAP funds as taxable income. Again, this is something you should discuss with your tax professional or accountant, because every business is going to differ, every project is going to differ, the cost of the projects will differ. And so, that's the best approach. You have to decide what the best approach is for your business in claiming these incentives. Finally, another incentive or tax law, I guess, that you could take advantage of is MACRS. And I'm sure a lot of business owners are familiar with MACRS. And so MACRS are the Modified Accelerated Cost Recovery System. And it's a form of asset depreciation. And depreciation is an income tax deduction that allows a taxpayer to recover the cost or basis of certain property in its annual allowance for the wear, tear, deterioration, or obsolescence of property. That's a mouthful, I apologize. So in other words, the value of any physical asset for your business, whether it's a vehicle, a television, and solar panels will decrease over time. And depreciation is just a way for you to lower your taxable earnings by depreciating the value of an asset over a period of time. So this again can be different and will be different for every business, and it's something that we encourage you to talk to your tax folks about. So let's take a look at how that would be incorporated into the grand scheme of things. So you have a project and you want to take advantage of the federal tax credit. So that would be 30% cost. And then you can take advantage, let's say you get full funding for REAP at 40%. So now your project cost is, covered up to 70%. And the depreciation or the MACRS, that is based on your tax bracket. So it's going to differ from business to business. But for the purposes of this example, let's say the MACRS cover 19%, the depreciation covers 19%. So that leaves you with an 11% remaining project costs. So, if you take advantage of this program and these incentives, it makes a return on investment a lot faster, and it makes it more affordable to install solar for your business. I want to note that this is just an example of potential savings with the grant. Not every project is going to look like this. And the funding is determined by the recipient's tax bracket. So, REAP grant funds are taxable, and that's not represented in this chart. We just wanted to give an overall pretty basic idea to folks of how, some of these incentives could help you install solar on your business. Let me see here. So the REAP grant application for this year, it closes on March 31st, but it opens right back up, and there's another deadline at the end of October. That has not been confirmed on the USDA website, on their website yet, the October deadline, but that's usually every year, that's how it works. So if you happen to not meet the deadline by this March, if you're interested in applying, you can always, hit the next deadline. So you do have options. The deadline is approaching. There's still time to get an application in. but you can always apply right later in the year. It would just probably push over to 2024. The other thing that I want to mention is battery systems are eligible for the REAP grant. So if you already have an existing solar array and you want to implement batteries, battery backup or storage for your business, that's eligible, or even a brand new solar installation with a battery system is eligible. I just wanted to add that in because somebody did ask me that the other day. I have some contacts here. Feel free to take a screenshot, or you can email me later and I can forward these to you. So these are the contacts for the Wyoming USDA offices throughout the state. And the folks listed on here, Miles Benzel, Cynthia Detloff, William Conover, and Lori Anderson, they all specialize in REAP. So sometimes it's easier for them to answer more in-depth questions about this program. I'm happy to answer any questions associated with the solar side of things. You know, I can help lead you through the process, come up with a proposal for you. The grant does require a proposal, give you all the information, size the system for your business, try to offset your consumption, you know, by up to 100% if we can. It's beneficial, you know, yes, good for the environment, but it's also going to save you money on your bill each month. And I, you know, we have a good process for this. It would entail, you know, a visit to your business to see, check out the electrical, so on and so forth. But at any rate, I'm happy to help you on the solar end of things. And we also work with these grant writers. I have firsthand experience working with Sarah Beidel Walcott. She specializes in grant writing for REAP, and she has a very, very good track record as far as receiving awards. So Sarah or Alex Arnold here, I don't know Alex personally, but I've heard really good things. Either of them, you can contract them separately to help you write the grant, put it together, get the application in, you know, before the deadline. They're very, very good at what they do. And again, feel free to take a screenshot or email me for their information. But they are happy to help you. They do charge a fee for their service, of course. And I don't know if that comes out of the grant or how they handle it, but they're very, very good at what they do, and they can facilitate that application for you, because I realize, you know, I used to be a business owner, and I realize time is important to you. The last thing I'd like to share here is my contact information. My office number there, my cell number, my email. If you're interested in receiving an estimate, you know, I'm happy to do that for you. I will be in our Salt Lake City office next week and pretty busy, but you know, feel free to call me, feel free to email. I'm happy to answer more in-depth questions. And with that, that's about all I have. And I will end the slideshow here. All right.
Thank you, Leo. It looks like we have a couple questions in the chat.
Okay.
And yeah, feel free to ask questions, and yeah, Leo, if you're able to see it once you stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, no problem. I was going to say, I can assist with anything on my end, if possible.
My screen shrunk. And sorry if I moved a little quickly there.
I think that was great information.
I can't seem to get back into the picture here, into the. I can see you, Claire, but I can't like I could before. But I can't open it up. While I just questions.
For stop sharing. Yeah, well, if you aren't able to stop sharing your screen, I think that's okay, because the attendees don't have their videos on anyway. So,
There we go. I got it. Sorry. Okay, we're good. All right, questions. Let's see here. So I have a question from Adam here. Are small government or school districts eligible for REAP grants? Adam, I believe the REAP grant is for profit businesses, but there is a Rocky Mountain Power Blue Sky grant that applies to nonprofits, schools, municipalities, government buildings. And in Laramie, we have installed 4 or 5 of them. So you can find that through Rocky Mountain Power's website. If you are in Rocky Mountain Power, if you're a customer, you can apply for that grant. And I'm working on one right now for a nonprofit in Laramie. So not REAP not eligible, but Rocky Mountain Power Blue Sky is what you would want to look into. Irene Hicks here. Let's see. Are we able to receive a copy of the presentation? Irene, I believe we are recording the presentation. So yeah, I don't know if Creative Energies will either put it on our website or on YouTube. And I think Powder River maybe plans to do the same.
Yep. Powder River has a YouTube page that will upload the video to, and we can circulate the link to attendees as well.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any more questions out there? If there aren't, I can give out my email address. Again, estimates from us are free. If you want to, get an idea of what putting solar on your business would look like, please feel free to contact me. My phone number is 307-399-2020, or you can call my office number 307-332-3410, and email is leo.pueblitz@cesolar.com. I'm happy to share the screen again if you'd like to see that. I can do that quickly now that I figured out how to unshare it. Let's see. All right, can you see it up there?
Oh, and looks like we have another question from Penny. Do you have
excellent.
any idea when the increase in funds via IRA will end?
The increase in funds via IRA. This isn't related to the IRA. I'm not sure how much REAP. I know that the investment tax credit, that's good for another 10 years, at 30%. And then the IRA is
yeah, the Inflation Reduction Act expanded those tax credits. So I think that's probably what she's referring to.
Yeah, so 10 years. It's good through 10 years at 30%, for sure. Let's see, looks like there's another, okay, Penny, yeah. Any other questions? Oh, see another one. Okay. REAP is being bolstered by the IRA. Penny, what the IRA did for REAP, it increased the funding from 25% for a project cost to 40%. So last year, if you would have applied for a REAP grant, it would have covered 25% of the funding for your project. And with the IRA, now they're covering 40%. And this is why we wanted to give this presentation, was because, if you're a business owner and you've been thinking about this, you have a little bit more wiggle room there. And along with the 30%, that ITC was 26% last year, the tax credit, and now it's up to 30 again for the next 10 years. So 70% coverage, and maybe if you can implement the accelerated depreciation, you're looking at a pretty affordable project. Who else do we have here? Another Penny, thanks, Irene. When does a 40% grant go away? Irene, I'm not really sure. I think it's that's up to REAP. That's a question for the USDA. I know right now, if $1 million is a minimum match, they're probably sitting pretty. But I guess depending how many projects they end up installing, or giving funding for installations, that'll probably, we'll have to see. But if it's on a state-by-state basis, I think Wyoming should be okay for a while. Hi, Jim. How are you? Hi. I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you. Yeah, Jim, I knew somebody was going to ask that. Yeah, we're keeping an eye closely, along with Claire and Powder River, on Senate File 92 that's going in the House committee, or it has been assigned the House committee now. My personal opinion on that is we're fighting it. We've beaten it 3 times in the last 4 years or 5 years. And I'm confident that we can do it again. But, it's not up to me. Unfortunately, it's up to the folks in Cheyenne. What I can do is encourage you to write to them and, let them know your feelings about, the threat to net metering that's being posed. But yeah, I mean, definitely on people's minds. But, all we can do is lobby to them and tell them why we think they shouldn't do that. Let's see, Phil. What's up, Phil? Is the size of the project constrained by power usage of the business? Yes and no. So if you're using over 25 kilowatts, yeah, I mean, Wyoming has a limit on installations. You can't install more than 25 kilowatts of solar per meter. If you have 2 meters, you can get away with 50 kilowatts. But, as long as you're not using a lot of power, 25 kilowatts or less should be plenty to cover and get you to 100% offset. I do know that, I looked at your project, I think maybe last year, and it wasn't, you weren't up that high. So I think you would be okay. Let's see here, Jared. Can you stack funding opportunities for both REAP grant and I should read this out loud, I guess. Okay, Jared O'Brien, can you stack funding opportunities for both the REAP grant and the IRA? In other words, if you apply for the REAP grant and receive funding for a project, you can also later apply for IRA discounts, direct pay. Yes, Jared, I believe you can. However, the IRA paybacks and discounts right now are a little bit unclear. I know manufacturers are currently looking to be able to get that stamp on their products that says made in the USA, qualifies for IRA discounts. So I know that there are some solar module manufacturers out there that we work with that are looking to to get that done. And there are also some ground mount manufacturers that are, where the steel is manufactured in the States, that are trying to do the same thing. The hard part is that it's so new and these things take time. As we know, the government doesn't work quickly. So I think that's in the coming months, we're gonna know more. But yes, you can stack that stuff. It's just a little bit unclear right now as to like what products we can do that with. But yes, you will be able to do that.
And the pie chart that you presented gave a good visual of how much could be from a REAP grant, and then how much could also be from tax credit, which was expanded under the IRA. So yeah. Yeah.
So I'll touch back on that. So REAP grant 30%. I'm sorry, REAP grant 40%. Federal tax credit, the ITC, is 30%. So that's a total of 70%, right? And if you take advantage of the MACRS, the accelerated depreciation, that could be additional, savings for sure. But like I said, I'm not a tax expert. I wish I was sometimes, but maybe I don't. But that's something that you need to discuss with your accountant. My job is, size your system, get a proposal in your hands, put you in touch with me, either Alex Arnold or Sarah Bida Walcott, and see if they're going to be better putting an application together for you. And I work directly with Sarah in providing her technical information for the project. So information about the solar installation. And then, then you get your application turned in and, maybe time to chat with your accountant. Let's see, Irene, would charging stations be included in the grant? Irene, I'm not sure about that. I think maybe for a commercial business, like if you wanted to put a commercial car charger in your proposal, we can definitely install it. But that's a question from Miles or one of the folks at the USDA, because they're going to know the ins and outs. I did ask Miles about the battery storage. The car chargers for commercial use, I'm not sure on, but I can look into it or, reach out to one of those folks. Any more questions? Oh, there's another one. Yeah, Irene, and you're welcome to email me if you'd like, and I can look into that. I do have. I didn't share the link to REAP's webpage because it was enormous. But if you go to the USDA's website or just Google USDA REAP grant Wyoming, it should direct you over to the Wyoming REAP grant page through the USDA, and they have a good list of qualifications and what's covered under this grant. So you may not even have to call one of those folks. Though I will say Miles out of the Sheridan office is very responsive, and he knows his stuff. So that's another option. All right, who's next here? Okay, just Irene. Okay. Any more questions? Last call for questions.
Another one from Penny.
Okay.
Is the ITC a direct write-off, like the family earned income?
Is the ITC a direct write-off? I don't know because I'm not an accountant, but I do know that you have the chance to claim. This is where things get confusing. So you can claim the ITC and the REAP grant as income, right? Or the REAP grant, you can claim it as income, but you have to, there's a way around that, right? You can claim part of REAP and not as income. But again, like, I'm not sure. I think it depends on your tax situation. As far as I don't know if you're going to get a check or if you're going to get a credit, right? It's a tax credit, but it's something you would want to discuss with your accountant. I mean, or if you want to chat after this and we can look into what kind of business you have, maybe we can figure it out.
Thank you to everybody for attending. Thank you so much to Leo for presenting this. This is really, really helpful information. And yeah,
thanks for co-hosting ARE and Powder River Basin Resource Council. Keep fighting the good fight over in Cheyenne. And thanks for everyone that showed up today. If I can be of any further help, please feel free to contact me directly, and I'd be happy to answer more questions for you and more in depth, or look at your business and provide you with a proposal for your solar. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.